Hey guys, Patrick Wind here and welcome to this training model in which we're going to conduct an analysis deep dive in our Facebook Analytics tool. So where are we right now? We are still in All Tools, Measure and Report Analytics, and here we are now in the overview where Facebook already provides us a pretty nice dashboard with the most important KPIs. After we analyze the dashboard, we're going to dive deeper in the remaining activity sections that we have not covered in the previous video, and then we're also going to cover the people category that we have in our analytics tool. So let's get started with the overview that Facebook provides us. So we see the event source group, which contains in our case one pixel and one Facebook page, and the overall general numbers here. Moreover, on the right side, we also see a nice analytics spotlight and the featured block, which gives us already some important highlights and additional information just on the first clips. If you then go down in the dashboard, we see, for example, the growth metrics. And if you're not sure how to interpret it, you can simply hover with your mouse over the information button here, and it says, this chart shows the amount of activity at one event source to the amount of new activity on another event source. Okay, so that's something about the growth. Then the active users in the last 24 hours. This chart shows the number of active users per hour over the last day. The most recent point shows the data for the current hour and is indicated by a pulsing circle. So that's this one. It's actually also a very nice interactive graph here. So if you go with your mouse over it, you see many new additional information. Then the user activity. This chart shows the number of daily, weekly and monthly active users for each day. And if you then go over it, you also see very nicely the evolution, the new users, just the number of new users per day. Interesting. And now this one is something that I really like a lot. So the engagement metrics per hour. Okay, so each number shows each cell shows the number of people that used your product by hour on a particular day. So this is very interesting, and the darker it is, the more intense. So this one is just 6, 8. So the lighter, the fewer, and the darker, the better. And once again, we see a clear shift to the micro moments. So here, people engage with our content during lunchtime, so before and after lunch, and before they go to work. So that's very interesting. Post reactions to user activity from Pixel. Okay. Median time spent per user, and once again, if you go over with your mouse, you see a wide range of additional information. Lifetime value for paying users, so each row contains data for the cohort of users that started using your product during that week. Each column contains the cumulative purchase value for the cohort after that number of weeks. So very nicely we see the evolution of the different weeks. Interesting. What matters actually the most for us is the revenue one. This chart shows the total revenue logged per day using purchase events. We see that we have dropped here because the Shopify page was down for 2 days, and now we're up again, once again. So we really nicely increased over the past weeks. And now after the Shopify page is live again, we're getting our reports again. Purchase by device type. Very interesting. We see that the majority of our sales, 94%, come from the phone, and this is gonna be like desktop. Repeated purchases. This is an information that we have not been able to analyze so far, and now thanks to this Facebook Analytics tool, we even can analyze the repeat purchases. So this chart shows the conversion rate from first purchase to second purchase. In other words, the percentage of people who have made a purchase who also made a second purchase. Okay, so actually interesting that 15% of our customers purchase again. It's a good number, I would say. Then the gender split, strong focus on men in this specific product. Age split, also strong focus here on the younger generation. Location, basically 100% focus on Spain. Okay, so this overview is a nice dashboard, and as the name says, it's an overview of all the other information that we have down here. And now let's jump into more detail in each of the specific categories. For example, active users. You see the unique users, the average events per user. So it's basically like a Facebook Analytics tool, but but triggered from the Facebook pixel and the Facebook page. That's good. Revenue, we already know that we can go into more detail about the evolution. Funnels we have set up in the previous video. Retention. This is of course very interesting. See how new users are retained in your product over time. So this is basically not only the percentage of people who have repeated the purchase, but also in general how they retain with our product over the different weeks. Cohorts. For example, let's say the cohort of people that commented on a post and then viewed the page. Also very interesting to analyze those different cohorts from comment to page view, for example. Breakdowns. Let's take here post comments and select by age. Let's take rather page views. Wonderful. So we basically, this is now a tabellaric display of this information down here per gender, but you could play around with many different breakdowns and you can set them up here. Journeys is gonna be a big one, but it's still in beta. It's gonna be a very, very valuable tool, but it has not been totally outrolled so far, but it's gonna be very powerful. Okay, so you need to select one or more conversion events to view journeys. Journeys show custom behavior across multiple event sources. So for example, if we take comments, and if we take page or purchase, yeah, you see, unfortunately, this one is still in beta version, so it doesn't work too well so far, but it's gonna be very interesting once it is created. The percentiles, that's something that is already available and is a very interesting overview. For example, if you want to understand the best 20%, your top 20% of users viewed page on average 5 times or more. Okay, so if you just go around with that, for example, the 50% of the people viewed page on average 2 times or more. That is interesting with page view, but what really matters is purchases. So for example, if we take the best 20%, so the 80-20 rule from Pareto, for example, the best 20% of our customers, your top 20% of users spend an average of $45.3 or more. And if you now want to understand the opposite, so for example, your top 80%, so this is just 20. So going around with this percentile bar gives you many insights on new information. So the average, so the middle, the mean, the median is exactly like 24.30, and you can even select additional information here. So for example, add to cart, or we can also take view content if you want. So add to cart, we see that the top 25% of our users added to their cart on average 2 times or more. We could also play around with view content. Let's take also the top 25%. So we see that the top 25% of users viewed content on average of 3 times or more. That is interesting. The events, the overlap we have already covered, and the lifetime value is a very interesting one because it shows you like how the different values add over time. And now the last part that I would like to cover with you are the people section. So here we see an overview of the demographics, age and gender, country, city, and language. Okay, so we can do this of course also within our with our ad account on account overview, on account level, campaign level, ad set level, or ad level. But here we have a more general picture, because it also includes the Facebook page data, not also the pixel data. The same with technology. So what's the device operating system that they're using, what's the device model, it's the app version, and if they're using the Facebook login or not. And that was it from this very nice analysis here. Was my pleasure presenting you all the tools that there are for Facebook Analytics, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, goodbye.